I'm your host, Molly Southgate, and with
Call
me
it
is...
Sherwood?
Yeah, they like sharing.
If you believe in Sherwood.
You like to share.
I thought it was like shareware.
Sherwood! Okay, let's keep going. I'm your host, Molly Southgate, and with me is...
Martha Southgate?
And...
Robot Rob Southgate.
Of Sherwood.
Of Sherwood.
And
I believe in love.
I like to share, because I live in Sherwood. Get it?
No.
Get
All right, so I want to talk about the episode. I want to get right into it.
Yeah.
Instead of singing Cher tunes. Apparently I only know one.
Yes.
And it's Sherwood, in case anyone cares.
Sherwood, yeah.
Sherwood, not
They're
Sherwood.
very sure of themselves.
Wow, good one. Excellent pun, Molly.
Thanks. And high five.
High five.
That's like our traditional pun thing. We have to high five
Is
whenever we do a pun.
Well, great. So there'll be one a quarter then. I want to talk about something right up front.
Okay.
The very beginning of the episode, we see him writing on the blackboard again.
Yeah, what is up with all those equations?
What do you think he's writing?
I don't know.
I'm sure that's going to tie into whatever the big story is, right? So we're either going to see it by the end of this season.
It's going to tie into Missy?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Part of you goes, yeah, that makes sense. It would tie into Missy somehow, and Promised Land was brought up again.
Yeah, it was.
Here.
Yeah, but it also... Wait, nobody went there.
No, nobody died and went there this time.
Hmm.
But it was mentioned.
Well, somebody probably died.
we didn't see. I bet
Somewhere
somebody
in
did.
Sherwood, someone
Someone
died.
died.
You know who
Yes.
died?
Who?
Sheriff of Nottingham.
Of
Oh, yeah,
course.
he did. He was stabbed to death.
But he didn't go to the Promised Land.
Well, no, because he was...
I
He was
think...
gold.
I bet if we look at who died, somehow there's a doctor involvement. There's a reason those are the people that are picked.
Right.
So, like, the Sheriff of Nottingham wouldn't have an emotional attachment to Doctor Who, but the one last week, the one who said, remember my name and use it for something great, there would be a reason that she would be important to the Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember who died in the first one.
The guy with the eye.
With the cruzy eye.
Oh,
That he
right.
killed.
And he did, but they had a bond. They were talking. They were bonded by the end. He was never bonded with the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Mm-mm.
If Robin Hood had died,
Yeah, then Robin
I bet
would
Robin
go to
Hood would have
Promised
gone
Land.
there.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wonder, but I don't know if the equation actually even goes there, although maybe what he's writing is he's figuring out mathematically how to get there. He may not know why he's going there, but it may be leading him, which will be the equation that he gives to the TARDIS that gets him to the Promised Land.
I could see that.
And we may not see that for a couple of seasons. Because like Bad Wolf, that didn't resolve for like 3 years.
When did it resolve?
You didn't see that one. So in your mind, it's never been resolved. Yep.
Doctor Who fail.
Doctor Who fail for you.
Yeah, for me.
It's for you because you didn't show me.
Yeah, that's right. I'm keeping 50 years of Doctor Who away from you.
Oh, you stinker.
All mine. All mine.
Stinker.
Okay, I want to talk about the fact that the doctor gave Clara her choice of anyone she wanted to meet. Who would you have chosen? Anyone in the world that you could have ever met.
Van Gogh.
All right.
Van Gogh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that because you think the Doctor and Amy are going to show up? Or is it because you love his paintings? Or why would it be Van Gogh?
He's my favorite artist.
Awesome. Good answer. How about you, Martha?
Oh, there are so many.
Yeah, that's how I feel. It's like, how do you pick? If it was right now, if you were to ask me right now, like, spur of the moment, just like he did to her, I think it would be Walt Disney.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I would have a lot to talk about
Because
with
then we
Walt
could
Disney.
go into... when the time he was giving tours.
You want to take a
Of
tour
Disney.
with Walt? I just think he would be fascinating to have, like, dinner with and have a real conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I might choose Da Vinci.
Da Vinci. All right.
He's
You going to
like-
bone up on your Italian before you go?
No, I'm just going to assume that he can translate. The doctor can translate for me.
Well, the TARDIS will do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would do Da Vinci.
Although when you
because
assume, you know what you make. Uh-huh.
I have always hated that.
Yep.
All right, but I did think that was really fun that he gave her the chance, but of course she picks Robin Hood. I think, why are you picking Robin Hood?
But she loves Robin Hood.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I think it explained it. When he asked her at one point, he looks at her and goes, when did you start believing in impossible heroes? And she just kind of looked at him. I think that's why she chose Robin Hood. Doctor Who is very much Robin Hood.
Yeah.
It's not that he's stealing from the rich, giving to the poor. He's defending the poor. He's helping
Or the
weak. Yeah. Like when you look at the universe and him coming here and saying, I'm protecting the people of Earth because they can't protect themselves against all this. He is Robin Hood.
Yeah, I can see that.
He's just not stealing.
It was so funny when
Except my heart. Aww.
Robin Hood shot the TARDIS.
Yeah, with the arrow.
That was interesting because it left a big hole, and the doctor was able to just rub it with his finger, and the hole.
Oh, Mom,
disappeared.
no, the hole disappeared by itself.
Right. He put his hand up to it, but it did just disappear. Now, there's a couple of ideas I had about that. One is, I'm sure the TARDIS is self-repairing as far as stuff like that goes. Because think about it, it's traveling through time and space. I'm sure it's getting hit by little rocks and things. It would get blown apart if it didn't have a way of repairing itself. But the other thing is, let's keep in mind, the TARDIS, what we see, is only what we see. He chose it to look like that so that it would not stand out. It looks
Even
like
though it
something.
does.
Yeah, even though
Everywhere,
it does.
it's like, why would there be a police box right here?
But it looks like something completely alien and different. So it might be something that
it's like a cloaking device.
Yeah, but it might be something that constantly is in motion. So getting a hole in it, it's just going to go right over and change that hole. Now, we saw it as being a hole in the wood, and then the wood filled back in. But in reality, it might be just like a smooth silver. It gets like a ding and just pops right back out. So we don't know.
All right, how about in that scene, Robin...
He sure didn't like that the arrow went into it, though.
Robin Hood called...
Actually, I think it's stone, because from the first episode, it was like this stone block
Oh, okay.
that he went inside.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Remember
when he
that?
stole it?
Yes. So you think that's what it looks like on the outside, sort of, is that stone?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're talking about, it was the movie that we watched where it showed that, right?
Yeah, it showed just that little bit with the doctor stealing the...
Yes. What was the name of that one? Adventures in Time and Space. That was that movie on the BBC about how the Doctor Who story started. That was really good. We need to watch that again. We need to watch everything again. Quick, 50 years, go!
Boom!
But
That's our minds, by the way.
Yes.
Robin Hood called the doctor, you skinny thing.
Yeah.
And that cracked me up. And then Doctor Who at some point in the scene says, did anyone ever punch you in the face while you did that? I just died. Their chemistry was so
Robin Hood and
fantastic.
Doctor Who, that was great.
They cracked me up.
Oh, yeah, you know what I loved? I loved it when the doctor was eating ice cream. Then all of a sudden, Robin Hood came and they started fighting.
Yeah.
And he said, I am the doctor and this is my spoon.
Yeah, I thought he was going to fight with his sonic screwdriver, but no, he pulled out just a regular spoon that he fought him with. But he was good, wasn't he?
Well, and how? It's just that tiny little spoon, and he could defend against that big, long sword.
Well, and it reminded me, obviously it was supposed to, but in the story of Robin Hood, when he first meets Little John. And Little John won't let him pass walk across the bridge, and they fight on the bridge, and he knocks him into the water.
Oh.
So it was very much the same thing, but the doctor had his own move, right? Where he got him behind him, and he butted him into the water. But ultimately, I think Robin Hood got the best of him when he jumped up behind him and pushed the doctor into the water, right? Hilarious. But that was cool, because that was very much, they were playing out the original story, and I think the doctor knew that. That's why he knew to do that move.
And Clara has never looked more beautiful than this episode.
Yeah, I didn't recognize her. In the preview we saw for this, I told a secret. We saw the preview.
No, it's not a secret. Everyone sees it at the end of the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, when she came out in that dress.
And her hair and her...
In the preview, I thought she was going to be Maid Marian, because it showed her saying that.
She wishes she
was
Maid Marian.
So, that dress, they've got a whole, costume thing in the TARDIS.
Costume play.
So when they go places, she gets to play dress up.
Oh, that's Molly's ultimate right there.
That's why she's always got a different kind of costume, because the doctor has a whole thing of dress up there, and that was in there. Can you imagine?
He must have a hairstylist, too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure the TARDIS has something.
The hands come out of the side of the TARDIS out of the
like
walls.
the hands in Willy Wonka. Remember the hands that grab the hats?
The coat
like
coat hanger.
Yeah, like they just kind of lean up and those hands come out and do that to their hair.
Yeah, and they fixed her hair all up.
Cool.
That'd be good.
I'd like that.
Yeah, Mom could really use it.
Oh, yes, she could. Even on a podcast, Mom.
Even on a podcast, you need your hair fixed.
So we get to meet Will Scarlet, and
Yes.
we do Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. We did that whole series.
Right.
Podcast
And
did that.
Will Scarlet was
And
one
Will
of the main
Scarlet,
characters.
Yes. And
he was also one of our favorite characters. We love that guy.
Oh, yeah.
And then when they brought up Will Scarlet
They
in
said,
here...
and this is Will Scarlet. Was he originally a Robin Hood follower
Yes.
in the book?
Yes.
Oh.
He's one of the merry men.
Oh, so you didn't have to freak out.
Right. I thought that was funny, too, how they all kept laughing, and it was annoying the
oh
doctor
my gosh!
so
Oh
much.
yeah, and he hates it, and he says, "What do they do? Why do they keep laughing like that?" And he's
Because
like,
he's like the...
and he says, "That's bantering. I'm totally against bantering.
Totally against bantering!
It is bantering!
Like bantering back and forth, like talking
But it
and
was
joking
so
back and forth."
Funny, and they
Sort
kept
of
laughing.
light
And then he'd go every once in a while, just like, "Why are you laughing at that?"
Yeah.
And then
Nothing's
I love
funny.
I love
The
when
one
they
guy,
went,
he stuck something in, got a blood sample of the one guy, and said, you have 6 weeks to live.
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
Oh, right, when he was going around when they were all laughing.
He
and,
pulled someone's hair to check it. He asked somebody else for a urine sample.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm gonna need a urine
Yeah,
sample.
he took... no, he said it's funnier. He said, yeah, I'm going to need a sample. And Claire's like, no. And she took the cup.
Right. Yeah, and then he
And, he took Fry Took's sandal. He said, this is not a real sandal. And Fry Took said, yeah, it is. And then the doctor said, oh, so it is. And then he handed it
yeah.
back to him.
And then he took the needle and he stuck it in the guy's neck, and that's when he took the blood sample. And then he's like, yeah, you've got 6 months to live. And then he made a joke about it later when they were like, this could all end very badly for all of us, or we could all go on and live our happy lives, well, except for you.
Oh,
The one
harsh.
guy. Yeah, that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Clara also named them. She's the one who said, you and your merry men, and Robin's like, hey, I like that. That's what we're going to call ourselves. We're the merry men. Now, I thought this was really cool because the entire episode, because of the name of it, Robot of Sherwood, I assumed Robin was a robot. I actually assumed that they were all robots, just like the doctor when he kept running around saying, maybe we're on a theme park, maybe we're, in a dream or whatever. Not a dream, but whatever, some kind of fake environment. I assumed
it was always light out, and he said, like, what is it? And he said, like, oh, yeah, it's like February.
Yeah, and it was all green. He's like, why is it green? So I was
then
under
kept
that
laughing.
assumption. I was under that assumption that it was a robot and that this was all fake. I loved how that played out when you found out at one point when he says that to the Sheriff of Nottingham, and the Sheriff says, no, Robin Hood's real. The only robots are these robots.
Why would I make a robot to fight me?
Yeah. So why were the robots there? Did you catch that?
I didn't catch that.
Did you catch it, Martha?
Oh, no.
What happened was an alien ship crashed right in front of the Sheriff of Nottingham. And that's how he ended up finding these robot guys and using them to his advantage. So what they were doing, the whole story was they were trying to get all the gold. The reason the sheriff is bleeding the townspeople dry for gold is they could smelt the gold.
Yeah, he was making
use it
circuitry
to make the circuitry to rebuild the ship.
Right, because he wants to overthrow the king.
Right.
Yeah.
And he thought this is how he's going to overthrow the king. That was really a cool twist on the story.
So they go to a archery competition.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Once again, the one from the story.
Yeah, and they did almost exact.
Yeah.
The
And
story.
Claire's like, it's a trap.
Yeah.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
And,
She turned into Admiral Akbar.
Uh-huh.
I love when they
that.
kept splitting each other's arrows. And they'd keep one after the other,
Yeah.
splitting them right down the middle. And then...
Well, yeah, that's the classic story. Robin Hood splits the arrow of the Sheriff of Nottingham, and that's how they know, number one, he's the best. Number two, they figure out that he's Robin Hood. But the doctor kept splitting Robin Hood's arrow, and then they kept going back and forth, and the tricks were getting more elaborate.
Then the doctor says, this is getting silly, and just blows it up.
Yeah.
He just takes out his screwdriver and blows it up.
Yeah, he's had enough.
Oh, that was so funny. And he says, shut it, Hoodie. I saved your life. Shut it, Hoodie.
Hoodie, get it? Robin Hoodie?
Yep.
And they fight over laughing. Again, I mean, they're just, the chemistry between them, it just cracked me up. And they were just alpha dog and on Clara. You know, it was just like this.
Well, and I kept thinking of Matt Smith and David Tennant through all this and thinking, how would they be interacting with Robin Hood? It would have been very similar. They wouldn't have found it amusing that he was, all merry all the time and that he was, supposedly fake. They would have been having a hard time with that also, but their approach would have been different. Mm-hmm.
I just thought Peter Capaldi was brilliant.
Oh, I did too, but it was funny because as I was watching it, I was really able to hear how Matt Smith would have dealt with it, how David Tennant would have dealt with it. Really, if you think about it, each of the doctors, if you think about if they were dropped into this situation, it would have been very similar. They wouldn't have been amused by it, but they might not have been the level of crabbiness that our current doctor has. Yes. Oh, he's so crabby.
But
it's awesome.
War doctor would also be the exact same.
I don't think the war doctor would have put up with all of this. I think he would have said, this is just ridiculous.
And started blowing the things up.
Yep. Well, he's the war doctor.
Yeah.
What did you guys think when they were all being held? Because after he blew up the target,
that was awesome.
They all got captured and put in this dungeon. And
I loved it when Claire said, and Robin Hood said, I have a plan. And Claire's like, Robin Hood, you tell us your plan. And he's like, no plan.
Oh, he didn't actually have a plan.
And then she says, okay, doctor. Wait, no. The doctor said, why him first?
Right.
And then she said, okay, doc. After he said after he didn't say anything, she said, okay, doctor, what's your plan? And she said, but it cannot be with your sonic screwdriver.
Yeah.
And they took away your, and he's like,
every plan had a sonic screwdriver.
Uh-huh.
So funny.
And he said, they took away my screwdriver, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so funny.
So, Claire tells him to shut up a lot because they keep, I
loved it when she was just like, she was storing all that anger, and then she yelled it to the rooftops.
Yeah. Now, so the guard comes in and says that they want the ringleader. And who did you think they were going to take? Who do you think the ringleader was in all of it?
I thought they were going to take the doctor.
Me too.
What did you think?
I figured either the doctor or Robin. I never thought Clara.
Right, it turns out it's Clara. Well, that's because she was really the only one that was holding it together.
Right.
The two of them were bickering.
And so he takes her to the sheriff has her at a feast.
Yeah.
And it's just the two of them and all this food.
Yeah.
And she didn't eat.
I know.
That just hurts me.
It does.
What is it with these shows and nobody eating?
Yes, if we ever have a show, people will eat and they will actually finish it.
Yes.
Because every time they leave the restaurant with whole food, with a whole meal still on their plate.
Right.
Drives me crazy.
It does.
Although Clara's dress was pretty tight, I don't think she could have eaten a bite in that dress.
With a corset on.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, when Robin Hood and the doctor are moaning to get the guard to come.
No. The doctor isn't moaning. He said, Robin Hood, you have to pretend you're sick.
Yeah, right.
No, it was Robin's idea, but the doctor's like, I'm not moaning, you're moaning.
Right.
So then Robin Hood and the doctor said, come quick, guard, but he insulted him, I think. The doctor.
Well, that guard was just dumb enough to fall for this too, because I kept thinking, there's no way the guy's falling for this because they were so bad at it, but he fell for it. So then when they escaped...
Well, wait a second. So they knocked him out. Then they had a fight over who's going to get the keys.
Right.
And instead of actually getting the keys, they knocked the keys down below into water. Oh my gosh!
I loved it. It's like you heard... And then it rolled, then it went...
Yep.
Splash.
But you know what's even better? What? The doctor said, Robin Hood. And Robin said, yeah. There's a right side to this. And Robin Hood said, what? Claire didn't see that.
Yeah, that was the only thing. The only bright side was that Clara didn't see it.
She would just have so much to say to them.
She would have. Oh my gosh, she would have knocked their skulls together.
Yeah. I love when they found the spaceship together, though.
When they were chained together?
Yeah, well, but they found the spaceship.
I love that when the doctor said, it's finally something real.
Yeah,
and I was just like, what's this?
It really changed the show at that point, too. Like, all of a sudden, it all started to make a little bit more sense. And did you guys see that the robots were going to be robots? Or was that... Because to me, I was completely surprised when their things opened up and
I didn't expect
they were robots. I thought those guys were regular. As much as I was thinking Robin Hood and those guys were robots.
I thought they were regular.
I thought they were just... Well, no, I thought they were knights. I thought they were just regular human knights. Yeah. And then when their face things opened up and they started blasting people, I was like, holy cow! So those were the robots.
Uh-huh.
And I wasn't even sure if the sheriff was a robot until later when I was like, okay, well, he was just the sheriff and Robin Hood was just the Robin Hood. It was those guys that were all the robots there.
Uh-huh.
And they said that the spaceship was headed to the Promised Land. So here we have that again.
Yeah, the Promised Land.
Uh-huh. I have something to say. Me and my dad think the Master showed up in this. The early one from the second Doctor, who looks exactly like him.
Yeah,
I saw him with the bow and arrow in it.
Yeah, when Robin Hood was leaping through and looking at pictures of actors and illustrations of Robin Hood. This is where the Doctor told him, look, you're a fictional character. You're not real. And then he showed him all this stuff, and then it turned out that he was real, but at that point he didn't know. As he was leafing through it, one of the actors that played Robin Hood looked very much like the Master from the 60s, I think it was.
It was
An
from
early
Master.
Master.
Say from the second Doctor.
From the second Doctor. Now, I'm going to contradict us here, Molly.
What?
I went and I looked through the book.
Uh-huh. By the way, if you don't realize what the book is, I have a character encyclopedia for Doctor Who.
Right. I looked at that actor that played the Master. Mm-hmm. He looked very similar, but it was a different actor. Different beard and everything. Because the Master had gray in his beard, like on the sides, and the guy that played Robin Hood didn't have any of the gray.
Wait, Dad, no. I'm talking about the guy who looked exactly like the second Doctor, who was like his identical.
It was a picture she saw, and she went, oh my gosh, that one picture that flashed by.
Right, it looked like I know what she's talking about. Okay. So I don't think it was, but I think it was an awesome catch because I think you were supposed to think, like, wait a minute, is he a Master? Because I think the Master is going to play into this season.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. So I don't think it was actually the Master, but I think that what you saw was absolutely supposed to make us think about the Master. Because I'm telling you, before this run is over, it doesn't have to be in this first year, but before the Peter Capaldi run is over the next couple of years, we are definitely going to see the Master. Okay. I think that it's going to tie into this Promised Land thing. I think that what's happening when people are dying and going, that's all going to be Master. I really think that.
I think the Master is working with that. I've never seen the Master stuff.
Yeah, and I think that woman, I can't think of her name, Missy is, I don't think that she's the Master. I have a feeling that she is that rogue Time Lord, and she and the Master are going to be working together to do this. I really do.
Dad, are you listing off names of Mickey Mouse characters?
I am.
Mickey, Minnie?
Walt Disney. He talked about Walt Disney.
I am.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Molly, I'm just being goofy.
Exciting scene. Robin Hood grabbed Clara and jumped to save them, to save each other.
Yeah, and they jumped down into the moat.
And he was carrying her out of the water, and she appeared unconscious.
Yes.
And the Doctor couldn't help. He was way up.
Yes, he was up
there.
with.
Then why didn't he just go down too? Because he was cornered right up there on the.
Well, yeah, but it was a pretty far jump. He didn't want to jump.
Maybe he doesn't know how to swim.
I don't know how to swim. Okay.
So there you go. Are you the Doctor?
Are you judging the Doctor for not going after Clara?
Yes.
I think that he knew that she was safe, that Robin Hood had her, so now he had to do what he had to do. We've seen him do that before. Remember in the last one when he left her, or the first episode when he left her in that room with the robot guys, and she thought that he was leaving her to die, and it was he was just he knew that she was going to be fine. He had to find another way to beat these guys. I think that's what's going on here. He's letting her be her thing while he is going to deal with the Sheriff of Nottingham and figure this story out.
So what did he do?
So what he did is he stayed back with the sheriff, and he figured out what was going on. He figured out that they needed the gold for the circuitry. He figured out what was going on with these slaves. He also, Clara then, that was the scene we were talking about earlier, when she went back with Robin Hood, when she woke up or whatever, that's when he started interrogating her. So he was now going through his transition where he's thinking, I'm fake, and what's going on here? You need to tell me what's actually happening.
Yeah, imagine if all of a sudden someone said, you're not real, you're just a fictional character.
Yeah. And then
that'd be pretty weird.
This is where they took him and put the doctor in with the slaves. And he meets that peasant girl, remember? And what did you think that peasant girl was?
I thought she was going to become a companion.
Yeah, because they seemed to have a lot of rapport, didn't they?
Uh-huh.
And while he's down there, that's when he figures out that's the whole story. It's the gold is being melted down for the circuitry. They need that. He also figures out, that's not going to be stable. And they're going to blow up the entire Sherwood Forest, London, everything is going to blow up if he actually tries to launch this ship. The robots aren't telling him they can't do it. And of course, the Sheriff of Nottingham isn't going to understand all of that. He's only doing what as far as he can grasp.
Right.
So the doctor's like, we got to do something. So they cause a revolt, right?
Yeah, they have a riot. They create a riot.
Yes.
And they use shields to stop the...
Right. So as they're shooting their lasers, as the robot guys are shooting their lasers, they're doing the trick like they did with Medusa.
Yeah.
Where they're...
In Once Upon a Time.
In Once Upon a Time, where they're ricocheting the lasers off of the shields.
Except with Medusa, she just looks in the mirror and...
turns to stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was the same kind of idea, like using their negative thing and reflecting it back and beating them that way. And...
I loved it with Clero when the doctor says, does any of you have the gold arrow? And the merry men say, we do. And he says, how did you get that? And they say, we're thieves. And he's like, I love you.
Right. Well, that was the gold arrow that he was supposed to have won in the archery competition with the Sheriff of Nottingham. But they stole it. And this is where, first of all, he figures all that out. Then the doctor has the fight with the Sheriff of Nottingham. No, Robin Hood does.
And Robin Hood uses the doctor's move.
Right, I was going to say the doctor used his move, but it wasn't him. It was, Robin Hood used the move and knocked the Sheriff of Nottingham into the gold, killing him.
But he didn't have the spoon.
No. Oh. And how cool was it when the sheriff went into the gold? They showed it where he was like trying to crawl out. You saw his hands come up, and they turned solid from the gold.
Like what King Midas does.
Yes, that was so cool.
And the doctor admits that he cheated at the archery. He used a homing device.
Yes. Well, and he also at this point figures out that, like, he admits basically to himself that Robin Hood is real.
Yeah.
That all of this is
actually,
real.
the sheriff told him he was real, too.
Right. But the doctor is telling Robin Hood, like, yeah, this is real. And he goes, well, why does everyone think I'm fictitious? And he's like, well, you've become a thing of legend, you know? But there is a real story here.
Yeah.
And as they're... we also forgot this. The ship launches with the robot guys, because they're going to go up now. And as they're launching... the doctor figures out, wait a minute, they need this gold to stabilize, and that's when they shoot the arrow at the ship, and that's the last bit of gold.
Robin Hood had the injured leg, so they're like, we're going to do it together.
Right.
Finally, they did something together.
Yeah.
Like,
right, so all three of them did it. It was Robin Hood, the doctor, and Clara all launched that and shot the arrow at that ship, and then boom!
The other thing that we haven't talked about, but Molly is in Taekwondo and has been for a couple years. And
Clara said, I take Taekwondo, and she took the giant pole. The actor's like, stop that, you're going to hurt yourself.
Right.
She's like, I take Taekwondo.
And then later she says it again.
Right.
And he says, those are not the same skills needed here.
Oh.
So, but it was so funny. But I loved that they brought that into the story.
Yeah, that was fun.
Really fun.
That was fun. Well, so let's talk about the ending, because I thought the ending, it was another one of these really good emotional.
Clara
endings.
has to say goodbye to Robin Hood.
Yes.
And she tells him to always be amazing.
Yes.
And I loved that. So he says history is a burden, but story can make us fly.
I love that because in Peter Pan they fly.
Yes.
Yeah, that was really good. There were so many good moments in this. It reminded me very much. You mentioned Van Gogh. It reminded me of the Van Gogh episode.
I loved that episode. Yeah.
And it didn't have quite the emotional impact of that, but it had a lot of emotional stuff going on.
Yeah, this didn't make me cry, but it was really good. And then you've got Robin Hood telling the doctor that the doctor is Clara's hero.
Yeah.
And he just looked really stunned. Like he did not, that never crossed his mind.
Yeah, right.
And he said...
well, he seems to be wrestling with that. It's like, am I a good man? Am I not a good man?
Well, and to have an outside objective person who's seeing it and telling him you don't know how important you are to her. And, but
that was
but
really
I can
cool.
see it. You may not be able to see it, but I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
And she never was interested in Robin Hood, because he was fighting him like, oh, I don't want her to love you.
Right, they were being the alpha dogs over Clara.
And then Robin Hood says to him, "Remember, Doctor, I'm as real as you are."
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So
that's
I think that they're gonna come back to Robin Hood sometime.
They very well could.
Or he's gonna come to them. That would be cool.
That would be cool, yeah. So that's where, as they're leaving, he says to Clara, "I've left him a gift." And the TARDIS disappears, and standing behind the TARDIS is who?
Maid Marian.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Maid Marian is standing there. So that whole story that we know of Maid Marian and all that, this is how it resolves.
Mm.
She gets freed from being a slave to make the gold, or to melt down the gold, and she's given back to Robin Hood for them to be together. That was really fantastic. I loved the ending of this one.
Yes.
And in this one, they're not foxes.
No.
They're not foxes.
They're foxy, but they're not
foxy. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. Boy.
Now, next week is going to be a challenge.
Next
because
week?
the preview looks frightening, and I don't know if we can let our 7-year-old watch it.
I don't know if we can let you watch it.
I know. So we're going to watch it first, and then we will assess whether or not
we may have an episode that is us only.
Or we may have...
I doubt it. I have a feeling we'll all be back for it.
Or we may have
we'll just have a few scenes with eyes closed.
I was going to say, we might just have to fast forward over a few scenes for her.
Yeah,
but
this one looks good.
We're going to do our best.
Scary.
We will do our best to accommodate, but we are not going to have her do something if it's not appropriate. So
True.
We'll see.
Well, let's wrap it up. Thank you for listening, everybody. This has been Coo Coo for Who, our Doctor Who podcast. You can find our past episodes of this, all of our other podcasts, including our Uncle podcast, we're calling it that, which is called Next Stop Everywhere, which is also a Doctor Who podcast, but with all adults, which is also a lot of fun to listen to. I think it makes a great companion to this. You can find all that at our website and all of our social media links at
www.southgatemediagroup.com.
Right. You can also find us on iTunes. Please give us ratings and reviews there. Giving 5 stars really helps us, but giving us a review, writing something about us really helps, and it helps other people find the show. So if you're a fan of these shows that we do with the three of us, definitely write a review, and it really, really, truly helps us out. That's it. So until next time, Alonzi! If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.